8 signs you're being manipulated. Today, we'll explore a very important topic: 8 signs that you're being manipulated. Manipulation in relationships or at work can be invisible, but it has a significant impact on your life. We'll help you identify these signs and teach you how to protect yourself from manipulators. Why it's important to recognize signs of manipulation. Manipulation is a form of psychological control where one person uses others to achieve their own goals. This can involve emotional pressure, guilt-tripping, or attempts to make someone submit to their needs. Recognizing a manipulator can be difficult because they often act subtly and deceptively. However, once you know what to look for, you can learn to protect your boundaries and not let others control you. Sign number 1. Using guilt. One of the most common manipulation techniques is using guilt. Manipulators make you feel guilty about things you shouldn't actually feel guilty about. For example, they might say, "If you really loved me, you would do this," or "You made me feel terrible." How it works. The manipulator creates situations where you feel guilty, even though it's not your responsibility. They might impose their problems on you, or try to make you responsible for their emotional state. Example. Imagine that your friend or partner constantly complains that you're not spending enough time with them, even though you have your own responsibilities or work. This makes you feel like you have to change your plans or sacrifice your needs to please the other person. How to resist. It's important to understand that you are not responsible for other people's emotional states. You have the right to set boundaries and say no when something goes against your desires or capabilities. If you're being unfairly blamed, don't hesitate to speak up and refuse to accept the guilt that's being pushed onto you. Sign number 2, gaslighting. Gaslighting is a form of emotional manipulation where the manipulator makes you doubt your own reality, memories, or judgment. This can be extremely dangerous because it undermines your confidence and ability to evaluate situations clearly. How it works. The manipulator might say things like, "That never happened," or "You misunderstood everything." This way, they convince you that your version of events is not accurate. Gaslighting is often used to avoid accountability for their actions. Example. For instance, if your partner says something hurtful and later denies it, claiming, "You're just making that up, that never happened," it makes you feel insecure and doubt your memory. How to resist. To protect yourself from gaslighting, it's important to trust your feelings and emotions. If something feels off or unhealthy, don't hesitate to seek support from friends or a therapist to discuss your experiences. Keep evidence of conversations or events when possible to reinforce your reality. Sign number 3, reward and punishment. Manipulators often use a carrot and stick approach, alternating between rewards and punishments to keep you under control. They may treat you well when you act in their favor but punish or ignore you when you don't meet their expectations. How it works. The reward might be a compliment or pleasant behavior, while the punishment could be emotional withdrawal or criticism. This tactic keeps you constantly trying to please the manipulator to avoid punishment. Example. Your colleague may praise you for every task you complete according to their preferences, but they start ignoring or criticizing you as soon as you make decisions independently. How to resist. Understand that healthy relationships are not based on rewards and punishments. If you notice someone using this tactic on you, it's a sign to set clear boundaries and not let the manipulator control your emotions through rewards. Sign number 4, emotional extremes. Manipulators can use emotional extremes, such as displaying excessive love or extreme anger, to achieve their goals. They may make you feel ashamed, scared, or guilty. How it works. These manipulators create emotional scenes that leave you feeling overwhelmed or frightened. They might cry, yell, or express intense affection to get what they want. Example. Your partner may create a dramatic scene, yelling and blaming you for being inattentive, even if you didn't do anything serious. This makes you feel obligated to fix the situation. How to resist. Don't let emotional extremes influence your decisions. Stay calm and try not to fall for the manipulation. Instead of reacting to anger, focus on the facts and your feelings to evaluate the situation objectively. Sign number 5, silent treatment. The silent treatment is a manipulative tactic where one person deliberately ignores the other to provoke feelings of despair or guilt. It's a form of punishment for not acting in the way the manipulator wants. How it works. The manipulator may suddenly stop communicating with you, refuse to take your calls, or answer messages to make you feel guilty. This could lead you to try to make things right with them to restore contact. For example, your partner stops responding to your messages and ignores you for several days after an argument, making you worry and feel guilty. How to resist? If you're facing the silent treatment, don't give in to emotional pressure. Understand that this behavior is a form of control. Set your boundaries and try not to react to the manipulator's ignoring tactics. Sign number 6. Distorting or twisting facts. Manipulators often distort or twist information to make you feel guilty or devalue yourself. They might exaggerate facts or change the context to back up their arguments. How it works? Distorting facts allows the manipulator to avoid responsibility or shift blame onto you. They might exaggerate the situation to make you look bad or justify their actions. Example: in an argument, the manipulator might exaggerate a small issue to make you seem wrong. For instance, they might say, "You always do this," even if it's the first time it happened. How to resist? Focus on the facts and try to avoid emotional reactions. If someone exaggerates or twists facts, calmly explain your perspective and highlight what actually happened. Sign number 7. Using fear or threats. Manipulators may use fear or threats as a way to control your actions or decisions. This can involve direct or indirect threats, making you feel pressured into doing what they want. How it works? The manipulator suggests that if you don't do what they want, you could lose something important or be in danger. This might include threats of ending the relationship or social rejection. Example: your boss may hint that if you don't work extra hours, you won't get a promotion or bonus. How to resist? Don't let fear control your decision-making. Evaluate the threats objectively and ask yourself how real they are. Don't be afraid to say no if the threats seem manipulative or unfounded. Sign number 8. Playing the victim. One of the more subtle but effective manipulation tactics is when the manipulator consistently plays the victim. They try to appear helpless, misunderstood, or wrong to evoke sympathy and achieve their goals. This often shifts the focus away from their behavior and places the blame on others, making you feel guilty or responsible for their well-being. How it works? The manipulator constantly emphasizes that they've been wronged, misunderstood, or mistreated by others, including you. They may say things like, "You're the only one who can help me," or "Nobody cares about me except for you." By playing the victim, they make you feel obligated to take care of them, even if it comes at the expense of your own needs. Example: for instance, your friend constantly complains about how unfair life is and how nobody helps them, even though you've already done a lot for them. This makes you feel like you need to keep helping, even though the situation isn't improving. How to resist? Understand that this is a strategy to make you feel guilty or responsible for something that is not actually your problem. It's important to set boundaries and avoid being drawn into a cycle of helping that brings no real change. Support is important, but you are not obligated to save someone from problems they don't want to solve themselves. Today, we've discussed the 8 key signs that you're being manipulated. Share your observations in the comments. Are there any manipulators in your social circle? If you notice one or more of these signs in your relationships, it's important to understand that this is an unhealthy dynamic, and you have the right to protect your boundaries. Manipulators may act subtly, but you can learn to recognize their tactics. If you see manipulation in your relationships, don't hesitate to stand up for yourself. It might be difficult, but it's important to start setting boundaries and not let others control your life. If you feel like you can't handle it on your own, don't be afraid to reach out to a psychologist for support. Remember, your mental health and well-being are the most important things. Don't let manipulators ruin your life. You are stronger than you think.